Hi, welcome to the Cryptid Wilderness Research Podcast. I am CWR team member Daniel Becker up here in Anchorage, Alaska, staring into the Arctic abyss. And joining me, as always, from Quincy, Washington, my fellow host, Matt Slater.
Hello.
So tonight, we have our mentors coming on. They're not only our partners and our mentors, but they are generals in field research. These guys are amazing, and you want the real deal, you talk to these two, William Lunsford and Stephen Hill. So let's go ahead and bring them in. William and Stephen, how are you guys doing?
Yes. How's everybody?
So one of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about is this Carolina video that's been going around the internet. We're not quite sure how old it is. I think it's a couple of years, but it's resurfaced as of late over the last couple months, and
Right.
in the on the Bigfoot pages and various reels on Facebook. And we wanted to get two experts like you guys, and have you take a look at it and give us your thoughts. We to our viewers, we did send it to them prior to the show so they could have a chance to review it on their own, and we're going to put it up now as well. And then, so let's go ahead and play the video, and then afterwards, I want to get your thoughts from you, William and Stephen, and also you, Matt. So let's go for it.
I've never seen anything like it in my life. This is the second time I've come over here. And the first time when I got up under them trying to figure out what it was, they started breaking limbs off and throwing them at me. And I still cannot figure out what it is. Look, they're ruining this freaking place. What in God's name is it? It's bigger than me, whatever it is. Because it's breaking limbs off that it would take me 2 minutes to saw. Look, see, he's coming right above me right here. He's fixing to throw something at me, whatever it is. Yeah, they don't like you messing with them. Look. What in God's name is going on? Look, that's bigger than me. Look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. What in Jesus' name is doing this? Oh my God, he just took half the tree down. Something, oh my God, oh my God. Oh, it's gotta be I don't even think a bear would have a chance in Hades and it doing this. It's something stronger than a bear. And he is pissed. Yeah, that's a healthy tree. About 8 to 10, maybe even 12 inches in diameter that he just broke because he's pissed because I'm getting close to him. I think I'm going to bounce because I think he just hit the ground, which means he's about to face me on foot. And I don't really want to wrestle with somebody that can tear trees down just because they're mad. My God, look at the tree he just freaking broke in half.
All right, so there we have it. William Lunsford, what are your thoughts?
Well, one of the first things I try to judge anytime somebody tells me about a sighting, I try to judge their body language or judge their voice and stuff. You can tell he's very, very upset with what's going on. This is not something I'm unfamiliar with. I've had trees pushed over around me. Had one pushed over behind my truck one time as my son and I were researching. I was actually in a deer stand one morning, and I had forgotten my rifle of all things. I was going to take my pistols to do some shooting down there. Well, I had left my rifle on the table like a knothead, and so I'm there. I've still got my pistols. Well, anyway, I guess I set off a different order because there was one walked up behind me and started shaking a tree like that. And it was probably, I'm gonna say probably 6 to 8 inches in diameter. But man, he was like it was in a hurricane there. Very, very angry, just like he's talking about, getting some growling, things like that. And he stayed hid most of the time, about like that one there did. But I could still see the hair and everything else like that. And finally, after about 8 to 10 minutes, they finally just turned around and walked off. Now, one thing I noticed in that video, if you look up there, anything that you saw that was black, truly, I think there was probably more than one Bigfoot there and that guy. These things, they tend to run in families or in troops, and I think there was probably more than one Bigfoot if you look up there. But most everything that you saw that was a dark color, dark shade, it wasn't way out on the limb like that. It was actually right up there next to the tree where it would be the strongest. So if you look at that, that tends to give credibility. But Bigfoot does make mistakes there.
So, Stephen, in taking a look at that particular video footage, what do you think? Do you think legitimate, or do you think possible hoax?
Man, I don't know. I have looked at this video before, and I never could see any ropes or cables or anything like that. So I don't think it is. And I could have been seeing things, but somewhere around the minute 45, minute 50, somewhere in there, I thought I might have seen some eye shine. It could have been something else, but I thought I saw something there. And if you'll do, people watching this right here, I mean, if you'll somewhere around a minute 40 on, start doing some screen captures and put a different filter on it, and I think you might be able to pull something up in there. I mean, that's when you have a really dark picture, you'll have to change the contrast on it and the brightness and all that to lighten them up sometimes where you can make something out. But I believe that's what somebody would see in there if they were to do that.
You know, just because you have to use the filters, folks. As a UPS man for 35 years, I delivered a bunch of camera studios, a bunch of photography studios, and everybody thinks of what you get back in that portfolio and that nice little book right there that you've taken and paid a lot of money, or you think, well, that's the way it came. No, I would go in there and there would be just like reels of film that they had taken, you know, tried to get the right exposure to, tried to get the right color mix up and stuff like that. And that's what we have as being a Bigfoot researcher. You're kind of stuck with what you get once you set your cameras out like that. But he actually had his camera in his hand, but you could tell that he wasn't thinking to sit there and, you know, try to manipulate everything. He was just trying to survive that experience and get through. So with that right there, you know, like Steven said, it's you can, if you do the screenshots, like I said, work your filters. Sometimes it'll bring up something that you just you can't believe. I did one with my wife last year, was giving me some grief about one. And she goes, well, if you have to do that, you haven't got anything in that picture. Well, buddy, whenever I filtered it all up, she's like, oh my gosh, you do have something in it. Yeah, I do. So that's so just because you have to do that with some of your pictures and things like that, doesn't mean it's not that it's fake or that guy was fake. It's that's one of the things that, thank goodness, we've got better photography than what they used to have. Whenever I grew up, man, it was a Polaroid one step. Take a picture, you know, it comes out and you sit there and you sling it like that, trying to get all the chemicals and stuff to balance itself out. So, but like I said, I was what Stephen said. I didn't see any wires either. I can't swear to it, but you know, and that's the first time I had ever seen that video right there, was actually tonight there. And so, like I said, it could make a believer out of me, because we know, Stephen and I both know, we've been there when it's happened. You know,
Let's go up to the Pacific Northwest. Matt Slater, what are your thoughts on this video?
You know, just listening to how terrified the guy's voice is, and to me that speaks a lot of truth to the video. It's like one of the things you can't fake unless you're a really good actor is your base emotions, just like primal fear and terror. That's really hard to fake. And the other thing that sells it for me too is when that big limb or maybe even the whole top of a tree snaps off, is like a human being, even 2 or 3 human beings with a rope tied to it, are not going to be able to pull that off of a tree unless it was already chainsawed, but it probably would fall at that point by itself.
Yeah.
Trying to get that rigged up is not worth it. So I think something was out there, and something actually did snap that big limb or top out of that tree. And just how scared that guy was, that I believe that video.
Yeah.
What about you, Mr. Becker?
I've been honestly back and forth on this one. I definitely can recognize the emotions in the guy's voice. I found myself questioning why he kept turning off the light, and I thought, well, maybe it's because he wanted to turn it off and then give whatever was there an opportunity to reset, and maybe expose itself a little more, and then turn it back on again, and maybe catch a better glimpse. I was questioning why he wasn't trying to get any closer, but then again, if he's had experience with these creatures, maybe that's why he didn't. I know if it would have been me and I would have, I've got the camera, I've got the light, I'm going to be running under there and just trying to get whatever I can get, but then again, I wasn't in his shoes. So, I wasn't there. So, but I did find myself questioning those things. However, as you all three pointed out, the emotion in the guy's voice is hard to fake.
There's no doubt about the emotion, and is I don't know. I mean, we've heard really loud stuff in the woods, and we've seen some really big trees broken over. I mean, there was a big tree down there at Thornton's Well.
Yeah.
That was broken across the road.
Yeah.
What was that tree, William? It was probably 10 inches where it was broken or bigger.
Every bit of it. Every bit of it.
And so nothing else was disturbed in that particular area.
And you guys have actually, heard Sasquatch, stampeding through the brush and stampeding through the woods and stuff. So, given the analysis provided by you guys and Matt, and regardless of my questions, I'm going to concur with you gentlemen that this is most likely legitimate. And definitely an interesting piece of footage, the analysis that you guys provided, and Matt as well, as we talked about the guy's voice and emotion, and even hearing the snapping of those tree limbs. It doesn't sound like some little thin. I mean, these things take some pretty big strength to snap like that, and they sounded like clean snaps. They weren't drawn out, but like I said, I tend to concur with you gentlemen on this one.
Yeah, I mean, we're without being able to talk to the person who recorded it, I mean, we certainly don't have all the information that could be available. So I mean, but it's to me, it's as far as that, it seems like it certainly can be a legitimate video.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us tonight and add your thoughts and analysis on this video that's been floating around. And again, you guys are fantastic. You are our mentors as well as our partners. And thank you so much for all the training you provided me in the field, and all the times you've been on the show. Our viewers love you, and we love you.
Appreciate that.
So,
and we're still learning too. There are no experts. We'll tell you that. No.
He's telling the truth there. There's no experts in this.
So Stephen Hill out of Locksburg, Arkansas, William Lunsford out of Texarkana, Arkansas. Thanks again for being with us.